Hey guys, welcome to Kitchen Talk with Granna. Glad you guys can come up in the kitchen with me today. But you guys know what you need to do. Let's go ahead and take care of that thumbs up button down there at the bottom of your screen. Let's go ahead and take care of that share button. Go ahead and subscribe to Kitchen Talk with Granna if you haven't already became one of my followers. And let's get all that out of the way so we can go ahead and jump off into this conversation for today. Okay? All right. So last Tuesday, we had our primary here in election here in Alabama, and you guys know by now, you know, the big focus was on Jeff Sessions and Tommy Tuberville, you know, for the Senate nominee and stuff. So of course, you know, Tommy Tuberville did win the Senate runoff that he'll be going up against Doug Jones in November. Okay, my thing is, what in the world made Jeff Sessions think that the Republicans here in the state of Alabama was going to put him back in the Senate seat? I mean, come on, this man was fired by our president, Donald Trump. And you know, once you go against the president, Donald Trump, your political career is over. That's it. It's the end. You can forget it. You're not going to get into another political seat, and you're just wasting your time. You know, I don't know what made Jeff Sessions think that the Republican here in Alabama was going to follow him, especially when they had another candidate going against him that's a Republican that's on the side of Donald Trump and has Donald Trump, our president Donald Trump's support. I mean, Donald Trump said that the worst thing he done was to make Jeff Sessions, you know, to bring Jeff Sessions up there and up there with him. You know, he said that was the worst decision he had made. So I don't know why Jeff Sessions didn't waste his time, his money, campaigning, and all that. He was not going to be given another chance because of the fact that he was fired by the president. So only way that Jeff Sessions would have got back into the Senate and been able to run against Doug Jones was that he was the only other Senate running. He was the only other Republican running for this position. That would have been the only way, you know. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, we'll have Tommy Tuberville going against Doug Jones come November. You know, and we as the other party, the Democrat Party, we have got to get out there and support Doug Jones, you know, and try to help him to maintain his Senate seat, keep him in there. It's crazy, you know, when it comes down to politics, and I'm definitely not the one that's that educated on politics and all that, the ins and outs and all that. But even, you know, with Tommy Tuberville, you know, I know he's well known for being a part of Auburn coaching team, and he did some great things when it came to the football and recruiting for Auburn and all this kind of stuff. But I know they were saying just two and a half years ago, he was a resident and still, you know, paying taxes in the state of Florida, you know. But it did also, you know, it is also a fact that he did purchase a home here in Alabama, I believe in like 2017. So I guess as long as you got that resident and you are, you know, even though you may have a resident in Florida, you may have a resident here, you may have a resident there, if you have a resident in that state that you're wanting to run as a politician and you're have that resident, then you can also, you know, run in that state, you know. And then I was reading somewhere where Tommy Tuberville is, I think currently, like right now, is on the payroll or the staff of Western Kentucky. You know, so I just don't understand all that. Either you are Alabamian or you are Florida resident or what. You know, I don't know, but I don't know. You know, I don't know how that works. I know he is a strong supporter of President Trump. And I know come November, We have got to get out and voice our opinion. We have got to get out and vote if we want, here in the state of Alabama, if we want Doug Jones to continue to be our Senate and to represent us. We have got to get out there and support him and vote for him, you know. Of course, Jeff Sessions is saying now, yeah, he's gonna support Thomasville. And of course he's gonna support him. He's a Republican, you know. He's gonna put that support behind him, and everyone that did, you know, try to support Jeff Sessions, they're gonna just switch over to Tommy Tuberville and give him their votes and keep it going so that they can do everything in their power to defeat Doug Jones. You know, they're gonna do that. But I feel like if we bring that support and we stand strong with this voting as we have with voicing our opinion on everything else that's going on in this world today, that we will be able to help him to maintain his seat. You know, it's gonna be interesting because with all this coronavirus going on and everything that's going on, it's a lot of people are still kind of hesitant when it comes to wanting to get out and vote. You know, we didn't have a big turnout, but you know, people did get out and vote. You know, you have to just practice those safety things when you go out, and you can't let this coronavirus or anything else stop us from getting out there and showing our support, because you know we're voicing our opinion a lot about everything that's going on, but we also have to back it up at the poll when it comes time for us to vote in November. And November will be here before you know it. You know, if you have not gotten registered to vote, or you're not sure of where your voting poll is, or you've changed your address, or whatever the case is, just make sure you have your updated information and, you know, on file, so when you get to the poll, you don't have any problems and nothing stopping you from voting. You know, you got to stay on top of that, just as you do any of your other personal business or any other personal things that you have to do. You got to stay on top of that. You got to make sure you're changing residence, that you're still in the right district for your voting poll. You know, all that stuff plays into effect. You got to make sure that you're updating your information, you know, and you got everything lined up, so when it comes time, you know, we already have to go against a lot of odds and ends when it comes to voting and all this and that. And then, you know, there's times when you get there and they'll say, well, you're supposed to be over here at this place, or you're supposed to vote it here. You know, so you just got to stay on top of those things too. A lot of people don't think about it because it's not something we do daily. You know, this is like a every 4-year thing that we have to do. So a lot of times it's way at the back of their minds, and they don't just keep up with that and make sure that all their information is updated. But we got to get out there, guys. We got to get out there. We got to vote. We can't start the train and then just cut it off halfway through the track. We can't start this journey and then just stop. You gotta stay on top of it, you know. You gotta keep being positive and speaking your mind and doing it in a positive way when you want change to come about. And change doesn't happen overnight. We all know that it does not happen overnight, but we have got to, support Joe Biden. We gotta support Doug Jones. You know, we just got to get out there, and if that's your party and you feel strong about their message and what they're saying, then you show your support. You know, I mean, you know, you're gonna have the Republican out there supporting and believing in the message that they're getting, and then you're gonna have your Democrats out there with their message that they're getting from their candidates and the people that they want to keep in place. So if the Republicans are going to go out and support their people, then we had to step up and get out there and support our people. We can't wait till, okay, come January 2021 and say, oh, well, we should have did this or we should have did that. And you know, you can't comment or complain about something if you're not a part of it. You know, you can't sit back and let this election year go by and then next year you want to complain about it if in the case that President Trump get a second term. Then you can't sit back next year and complain about him getting a second term if you don't go out there and support Joe Biden. You know, you can't do it. You can't have your cake and ice cream and eat it too. You know, you gotta either vote or you gotta complain. If you're gonna complain about it, leave it alone. If you're gonna vote and then voice your opinion, then do that. You know, you can't have it both ways. And I've talked to many people in the past, you know, during the election and after the election, and when these presidents get voted in, then they be like, well, he ain't doing this or he ain't doing that, and this, and this. But then you didn't get out there and take the time to vote. You didn't even take the time to get registered. You know, you're already, in your 50s, and you didn't even take the time to go and register so you can voice your opinion that way. When it comes to these elections, unless you vote, that's the only way your voice is going to be heard. It's only going to be heard if you're out there voting. So you got to do it. You got to take the time to do it. Just as you, every 4 years, you have to take the time to go and get your license renewed. You know, it's just something that you got to do. And, you know, it doesn't take very long. It may be a little bit of more time this time around because of the coronavirus and everything that's going on. And they really kind of hoping that we don't get out there and vote because of this coronavirus. You know, they're trying to make it hard for absentee people to do the absentee ballots and all this. They're already trying to put in place these different restrictions and things you can't do even though the coronavirus is going on. So don't let them stop you from voicing your opinion. You know, I don't understand it. You know, we went to too much, and we've talked about it. We've had conversation on how we've gotten to this point where we can vote. What got us here? All the things that people had to go through back in the day to get us to the point where we can vote. People lost their life just simply so that we can vote. We've talked about that. So don't let that go unnoticed. You know, don't take that for granted. You know, don't do it. Make sure you get out there and you vote come November. And I'm going to keep talking about this voting thing. You know, like I said, we got about, it's August, September, October. We got about 3.5 months or so before it's that time for us to jump on there and get out there and do it. So you're definitely going to hear me talking about this election some more as we get closer to the time for us to vote. But I just thought it was funny how Jeff Sessions thought he was going to be able to win this election and get back into the Senate after he was fired by our president, Donald Trump. That was funny to me. I just sit back the whole time he been doing this campaign. I'm like, are you serious, man? You need to go on over there to the left somewhere and sit down, because they're not going to put you back in there after the president fired you. And then they got Tommy Tuberville over here running, and he still had a lot of supporters just when he was a football coach and an Auburn fan, because you know when it comes to Auburn and Alabama, they gonna be out there supporting whoever. If it's Alabama, if it's Auburn, if Nick Saban would have ran, then that would have been the end of the deal right there, because Nick Saban would have outwon all of them, you know, because they're always going to have that battle between Alabama and Auburn. So when you got an Auburn ex-coach running against Jeff Sessions, it was a done deal. It was a done deal before it even started. All right, guys, thank you for giving me a few minutes of that time. Hey, don't forget when you're out and about, wear your mask, be kind to everybody, and just live your best life. Live the best life that you can, okay? I'm going to let you guys get up out of here, and I'll see you next time around.